Welcome to the Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My podcast,
where the supernatural gets real, baby.
Hey everyone, welcome back to our little podcast that we call Spirits, Angels, and Guides Oh My. I am Nancy Christine Brady.
I'm Tara Diana.
And we're so happy to have you here with us on this journey. Today we have an exciting topic.
Don't we always? It's always exciting.
It is to us. And
that's all that matters ultimately. I mean, as long as we're happy, everyone's going to feed off our energy. So I'm happy, you're happy, everyone's happy.
Okay. So I'm going to put a little teaser line out there. So imagine walking through a doorway, not into another room, but into another reality. Dun, dun, dun.
Twilight Zone, like 1970s.
What do you think we're talking about, listeners? It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about portals today in all the capacity, which is very, very exciting.
It is. It is so exciting that we're not going to waste any time, my beautiful friends, and we're going to slide right into the portal.
Into it, because we have a lot of really cool content. I'm going to tell you a little bit first about the historical and cultural background in this, because I'm the one in our little, what do we call ourselves? Our little partnership, our little friendship.
Little peas in a pod.
We're peas in a pod.
Pod.
I do the deep dive into all the dorky stuff, and Tara comes in with this high level spirit thing, and she's like, "This is how this applies to us." So I'm going to lay the groundwork, and I'm going to be like, "Okay, this is what triggered Nan to go down the rabbit hole, like I always do." Now, we had an episode a little way back, and we talked about ley lines, which sent me down the rabbit hole, Tara. I was like, okay.
So many rabbit holes she went down, friends. So many.
Well, and I was like, there's got to be more places like this. And I've been telling you, you and I need to take a holiday at Mount Shasta. This is actually listed as one of my portals.
Oh,
yeah, right? So, but this happens everywhere in the world. So the Celtics believe there's thin places. That's what they call it. It's different geographical areas where the boundary between the world and the other world sort of dissolves. If you've read any romance novels, you just know. It just, I forget what the one is that's the big TV show right now where they go back in time.
I ain't watched a TV show since I don't know when, baby.
Okay, so there's all sorts of gateways and
unless it's Love Island. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Now I believe that. I believe that for you. No, this is it's a Diana. Yeah. Oh God, what's her name? And it's a book, and it's been on TV forever. And it's this woman, Claire, who travels back in time, and she sees the man of her life, Jamie. Anyways, the listeners will know what I'm talking about. And she kind of goes through a type of portal to go to this. Okay. And so that's what made me think of this whole Celtic thing. But I know when my husband and I went to Ireland, there was all sorts of sacred mounds. Like you could go to a fairy mound. You could go to even the most famous place over in the UK would be Stonehenge. That's what it'll look.
Yeah, for sure. I would just like to do a side note here that if you go to Ireland, the name Tara, pronounced Tara, is actually very, very common and highly regarded. It means Irish tower. Side note.
That's fantastic. So that when I go, I'll take a picture next to an Irish tower and say, "I'm here with you."
I love that.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Tara.
We're digressing. This is, you know what, listeners, if you follow our podcast, you know we're all over. All right, so back to the cultural historical thing. So Mayans, Mesoamerican, if I can talk properly, have all sorts of, pardon me?
I said, well done.
Not bad, right? The tongue is actually kind of working well. We'll hope, fingers crossed, it's going to continue. So they have all sorts of temples. They have sort of caves that you can access the other side, the other world. See, I just messed up my good luck streak there.
I duped you. Okay.
Then we've got sort of indigenous North American perspectives. So there's all sorts of different places that have spirit doors or power places that you can go through. For example, the Hopi consider the Grand Canyon as a very sacred emergence point where ancestors come and go between worlds, which is...
Oh, that's cool.
Right? I mean, we were so close to the Grand Canyon when we went to Sedona, but We didn't make the trip, and that's okay. Next time. So then other places, like, for example, Buddhist cosmologies have sacred mountains like Mount Kailash. And so anything that's sort of higher planed is kind of a closer transition to moving through the portal, moving through another side, or
okay, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I mean, you see in every single cartoon or meme, like the person walking up the mountain for enlightenment and sitting at the top. So, so yeah. And then modern mysticism, obviously Sedona, we've been there, love it. Mount Shasta, been saying to you, we're going to do a trip. And these are vortex sites. So also known that they can amplify that spiritual energy, but also can provide somewhat access to like multi-dimensional realities, which...
Right. Makes sense.
Cool. Yeah.
I get it.
And I really feel like, don't you feel you felt that when we were in Sedona?
I did. And, you know, there's a lot of commercialism with Sedona, and there's a lot of, like, hokey spiritualism in Sedona, like, no lie. But when you and I and the ladies, especially the first trip we went on there, when it was just kind of like a girls' trip, I really felt some connections. And that specifically the last one, and for the love of God, as you know me, I can't remember anything, that last mountain that we climbed where you made it to the top and we cried and we celebrated and all those things. That was so powerful. The energy I was vibrating there.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. It was, and the next time when we went and that man played the flute.
Yes, at that same mountain, girl.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just sat there and bawled my face off. It was so incredible, and you felt like you were in a different world. Like it was really cool. So some of the places have a lot of mythology around them too. Like, I don't know about you, but growing up, I was addicted to unsolved mysteries, and it seemed like at least once a quarter they featured the Bermuda Triangle.
I watched Think Master.
Okay, well, I watched that too, but it was.
The Bermuda Triangle, can we do a podcast on that?
I think we should.
I totally think we should, because that is one of the few things that always grabs me.
Yeah.
Always grabs me is the Bermuda Triangle.
Me too. And it does feel to me like it would be a portal, because if something's going in it and not coming out, of course, I love Star Trek and Star Wars growing up. So like my imagination goes to 100 places, but Unsolved Mysteries did a cool show on it where they actually brought scientists in and they were really trying to figure it out. Other places like Stonehenge, which we also talked about, it's very much ceremonial site, possibly connected and aligned to celestial portals. And then one that you and I were also talking we would love to go to, which is Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, mm-hmm.
So that's where
that one creeps me out, though. I'm not gonna lie. That's gonna creeped out super easy. There's something I don't think it's the name, although that adds to it. But there is something about that makes me kind of go, "Ooh, love and life, right?"
Yes, yes. And of course, that one's really aligned with UFO, paranormal, interdimensional phenomenon. So it's excuse me, it's not as like, I guess, mystical as some of the other places, but it was when we did the Pink Jeep tour, and we tried to pay the driver to take us to the ranch that was supposed to be haunted around there, and we were going to pay him really good money, people, and he was like, heck to the no, this is not happening.
Absolutely not.
No. And of course, we were too far gone to rent a car and go, but not too far gone, drinking.
What do you mean we were too far gone?
I had to clarify that. Like, we were too far away from where all the car rental places were. Like, so that's kind of too far away. I shouldn't have said gone.
Oh, God. We were so loopy, there is no way we were going out for a round.
The energy in the vortexes kept us loopy. And then the last but not least is where, and you're familiar with this, shamanic visioning, right? Where you're taken into this beautiful guided meditation. And it's often said that you go through portals, you'll go through doorways in order to have healing and alternate timelines and everything like that.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool. And so the next part is like, how do these work? And I think that's the $1 million question. You and I could be bazillionaires if we figured out a lot of this. But we talked again on another episode about energy grids and ley lines. And most people believe that this is sort of the energetic superhighway of the earth. And that if you utilize it, you're going to amplify all sorts of frequencies. Okay, that's believable. But the interdimensional gateways, or some people call them wormholes or multi-dimensional doorways, they say that it connects us to different realities and timelines. Now, that one's a little bit harder to prove.
For sure. And you know what, you guys, will link below the episode for the ley lines that we keep talking about for you.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, so as we go down into this and we try to really sit there and go, how do these work? I think a lot of it really can't be explained. You know, like when we were in Sedona and we were in the different sort of vortexes, one was associated with masculine, one was associated with feminine. Well, you know, how did they come to that? You know, it was obviously a vibrational thing from spiritual people intuiting.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That's a funny word.
I know, intuiting.
I'm intuiting. What are you doing?
We're going to do that when we do platform at the church next time. We're going to intuit for you tonight.
Welcome. We're intuit. I can't even say it. Okay, anyway, carry on, woman. Carry on.
Okay. So there's all sorts of different places like that you can go to, and it's really hard to have a scientific background. I think that's why I was so fascinated with Unsolved Mysteries, bringing in like legit science people. This also for me is like, we have some good friends who are ghost hunters. I'm sure that's the wrong term. Paranormal investigators, I think, is the politically correct term. And
politically correct term for like investigating hauntings? I did not know this.
Would you correct me once? I had someone correct me once.
Well, come on, peoples. It's ghosty hunting. It's ghosty. I'm looking for the ghosties.
But I love that the friends that we know have all this scientific equipment that they bring along, right? Because it helps for the average person who isn't doing the mediumship work like you and I, understand it. Like, go, listen, can you hear the voice? Or there's one of my favorite toys that I saw on a paranormal show. They bought a bear. Yes. I was like, okay, we need to do like a GoFundMe campaign and get Lynn a bear for when she's doing her paranormal stuff.
I know one of them has a bear.
Do they?
I don't know if it's Paranormal Betty, that's what I call her, or Lynn, or someone has a bear. I promise you. We will find it for our Halloween episode.
Okay. Because I really feel we need to bring the bear. So I was like, if we go to like a cemetery or something and just plop him, see what he comes through. But
plop the bear down and just hang out, have drinks. We'll just wait for the bear. Oh my God, did you hear the bear? And that's like, but anyway.
Okay. So mystics have developed different methods to work with portals, right? So this is how this really pertains to us, in addition to the science. So we do meditative journeys. We do shamanic drumming, right? It can really take you into a beautiful trance state where you are able to move between the different dimensions, in my opinion. Sacred geometry and symbols, remote viewing, astral travel.
That's been going through my mind the whole time you've been talking, is astral travel. Yeah.
And I, like, when was the first time you astral traveled?
So I'm sure I've been doing lots of things for a long time, but the most vivid astral travel I had is that when I had the kids, they were babies and they were upstairs in the upstairs bedroom, and Mike and I's bedroom is downstairs. And I literally was the laziest mom you could possibly imagine. And I'd be like, the babies would be crying. I'd be like, oh, Lordy, take me up there. And I would go and see if I really need to get my sorry ass up out of bed and walk the stairs. That's when I knew. Also, I have a really good friend, you know her as well, Raina, that I can astral travel with. So I can go and meet her places. But before that, I don't really remember, to be honest with you.
Interesting. So for us, I guess, what would a portal for you, Tara, symbolize spiritually?
a movement, movement and connection, right? I believe that portals are ways for us to maneuver between spirit and our humanness so that we can have that balance between both worlds.
Yeah.
I also believe, though, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat this, that to be able to do that effectively, you have to have a good understanding of what you're actually doing.
Yes. Oh, 100%. You know, like this isn't for the faint-hearted. And I do have some really cool exercises on working with portals for our Patreon community that we're going to put in after. So we'll explain a little bit more about our Patreon at the end of the podcast. But for me, a lot of them can work with our personal transformation, with like soul journey and evolution, right? You know, you and I both do a lot of work in the Akashic as well. And so I really feel like that constant evolution of our soul can really be worked on in some portal work. Obviously, divine contact.
For sure. Like when you're channeling, Nan, you are going through, especially trance channeling, you are actually removing yourself from the physical space.
Yeah.
And you're moving. That's a portal, baby. So when I go and visit that white horse and some big green grass, why I do that, I still cannot understand. That's me going through a portal. Yeah. I've removed myself. Anyway, go on.
I love it. I love it. And then collective ascension. I really feel that's a big part of it. You and I have done a lot of collective work with a friend of ours where we've gotten into group meditation. And it makes so much sense to me, right? To just sort of take it to that next level. So, you know, there's a lot of modern and scientific debates around it that I'm not going to necessarily get into. But I feel like with metaphysical, there's always going to be a scientific that has to try to either debunk it or prove it, right?
Sure, for sure.
So, you know, for me, I didn't really want to focus too much on the skeptical viewpoints. What I wanted to focus on is for our listeners that are fascinated with the spiritual component of it, how does it apply to mediums and psychics and gifted healers? And so that was kind of my little dive. And I know you're about to bring another perspective of portals where it's not as grandiose. We're going to talk about how personal you've had some real personal involvement with portals. So I'm going to invite you to do that now.
Okay. So as much as I love the scientific and as much as I learn so much from every episode, probably just as much as anyone else, the very human aspect of working with spirit. So we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And today my notes are all down here, guys, because, you know, life is just like that sometimes. Let's get one thing straight. Most of the homes, and this is where I'm going to go with this, most of the homes that Nan and I get invited to, where people say, oh, I have spirits in my home. They're causing chaos. They're causing ruckus. How do spirits get into the house? There's portals, right? And we're going to talk a little bit about that right now. The different type of portals. Now, here's the thing. When people call us into these homes and they're like, you got to come. My kids are seeing this, that, and the other thing. There's this going on. Now, I will quickly talk about, and I'm probably going right off, you know, my whole script here, but kids are pure energy. 9 times out of 10, if you tell me that your child is looking at seeing spirit, is seeing spirit, then they probably are, because the portal is open and they've invited them in. Okay? Now, if you come to me and say, oh, I feel there's spirits in the house, 9 times out of 10, I'll walk into your house and it is like residual energy that's just built up, negative energy.
So I have a question for you, because I feel like some of our listeners are going to want to ask this. What is the difference between when you hear mediums talk about the veil versus portal?
The veil is a very, very personally easy way to maneuver between one world and the other. So high-level mediums will just step through the veil. It's like you trust that process and we just step through the veil.
So would you call it the doorway to the portal?
What do I mean? So here's the problem with me, Nan, and it's not a bad problem to have, for sure. But the thing is that because I do everything effortlessly, and I'm not tooting my own horn. What I'm trying to say is that I trust spirit so wholeheartedly that I don't think of things like I'm walking through the veil. I just do. I don't think of things like portals. So for me, the veil is just that easy way to slip right through to spirit on the other side. When we talk about portals, having to go to ley lines, having to find mirrors, and we're going to talk about this stuff in just about 2 seconds here, having to do that kind of stuff feels like it's work to me. And I don't do it, baby. I just go with the flow. So does that answer anything that you just asked? Did I get anything there?
So for the listeners, we'll call it a door.
Okay. Okay. So let's go back and let's just start my portion of this from this point of view of most of the time when Nan and I get invited to go to houses to do clearings or clearings. We'll leave blessings out of this. It's not because there's spirits that have gotten stuck through the portal. They came through a portal and they got stuck. It's mostly emotional residue. Okay? Yeah. Pure and simple. Sometimes there's more. Usually when there's children involved, and children between the ages of newborn all the way to about 12. At 5, it changes a little bit because that's when we start trying to indoctrinate them with like, oh, this doesn't exist, or oh, you need to believe in this, or blah, blah, blah. So when a true portal is present, spirit doesn't knock, okay? It just strolls right in. It's just like, hey, here we are. So what are portals for real? So portals are energetic doorways, just like Nan said. They really are. I don't use that terminology, but, for the sake of this, we're going to use it. Natural or created that connect to one location or dimension to another, period. They're not inherently bad, okay? Portals, and remember, you guys, Nan's done all the good spiritual talk and stuff. I'm doing that humanist talk and spiritual stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Portals in a home or a business or a land itself, right? Lands can have portals like Nan talked about. They're neutral pathways, okay? They're neutral. This is not a good or a bad thing. It depends what's coming through them. And I don't believe in bad spirits. I believe in mischievous spirits sometimes because everything's energy. And what they're trying to accomplish is important. So if they're coming through to torment your poor baby and not let it sleep, it's usually because they want you to pay attention to something, but the baby's picking up on it. Am I still making sense here, Nan?
100%.
Thank you very much. I want you to think of portals sometimes like revolving doors, okay? Some spirits pass through them quickly with no issues, and others linger, okay? They chill, they hang out. And if the energy is low or a little bit chaotic, that's when things get a little bit spooky, and I'll get a phone call and they'll be like, hey, yeah, can you come and like do something to my house? And I'll be like, sure. And we'll go in. So portals in a home, where and why? And I'm specifically focusing on homes, Nan. Okay. Yep. I'm specifically focusing on homes. So number one way, here we go. The classic gateway is, Nan?
Mirrors. Mirrors. Yes, of course.
So, I know. I just like throwing that out there, so it looks like we're having this banter back and forth.
I felt she's trying to test me if I'm paying attention.
Well, we looked at the whole thing. What's the difference between a veil and a portal? I was like, okay. So mirror. So used in the occult and metaphysical work for centuries. Think of scrying mirrors. Right? I have scrying mirrors here all the time. I've done some of my coolest work with scrying mirrors. Because mirrors reflect and hold energy, right? Especially those facing each other. So if you've got two mirrors like this, creates an energetic corridor. Now, the chances of that happening are not a lot, guys. There is very rare spaces where you walk in, unless you've opened like a mirror. In the condo I was staying at in Whistler, they had mirrored closets. Yeah. And when you opened one of them, you actually would create that corridor.
Yeah.
Right? So belief goes back to ancient cultures about this. Covering mirrors after a death is so spirit doesn't get trapped or lost inside. I will tell you something. I tell people when I go to their homes and kids are in there, like in their bedrooms and they have a mirror, if they are having problems and it's persistent and no matter what clearing I do, because spirits can come back in. I can't shut portals down completely and totally. If
Yeah.
the little child is like, hey, come on in, can't deal with the mindset, right?
Yeah.
I will tell them to cover the mirror. Works every time.
Perfect.
So you want some fun pulp culture references? And I'm going to put this in the Instagram. Think of the movie Candyman. Okay? Say his name in the mirror and bam, he appears. I hated that movie. I'm not going to lie. I don't like creepy. I mean, I like creepy movies. Don't get me wrong. But this guy, there's something about him that gave me the creeps. Oculus, a haunted mirror that manipulates time, memory, and perception. I haven't watched that movie in so long. We should have a movie night. I highly recommend this movie, though. You'll have a hard time finding it, but Poltergeist, of course. Poltergeist, the closet. And mirror reflects, right? The reflections act as spirit pathways. Okay? So we got 3 movies that we're going to watch. I want to know who watches them in the comments on our Instagram. Okay? I want to know who watches this. So that was Candyman, Oculus, and of course Poltergeist. And watch the original Poltergeist. You don't have to watch 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? The original. Here's some real case lore for you.
Yeah.
Victorian morning rituals warned of mirrors. I almost died when I read this. Oh, no pun intended. Victorian morning rituals warned of mirrors being soul traps. In some Eastern European tradition, a mirror in a bedroom is believed to draw wandering spirits at night. When do you feel spirits the most?
Oh,
At night.
yeah.
So we set ourselves up for failure because we just go into that. So here's a tip for listeners. If a mirror gives you bad vibes, okay, babies, if a mirror gives you bad vibes, cover the mother fluffing thing.
Yes.
Cover it. And it says here to cover it for 3 days and see if the energy shifts. Why not? I would cover it forever or get rid of the thing if it's just not doing what you need it to do, which is reflect your beautiful self. It's getting all sorts of stuff. Get rid of the mirror. I don't know why people find their attachments. So where else can spirits come through and use as portals? Sockets and outlets. These little wall gremlins are literal energy points. Energy flows through, and anything that carries current can become a potential hotspot for spirit movement.
Well, think about it like the grounding mats that are such a fad and the grounding sheets. You put it in to the plug-in in the wall.
Yep. EMF. Sensitive spirits can use these like charging stations or entry points. Wow. Can you imagine a spirit coming through and being like, ah! Okay. Paranormal investigators often report fluctuations or strange readings around electrical panels, plug points, or TVs, especially older analog sets. One with the rabbit ears.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Easier to manipulate, right?
Absolutely. So, metaphysical insight here. It's not the socket itself, babies. It's not the socket. It's the energetic instability around it that makes it porous to spirit.
That makes sense.
And first of all, I would like to give a shout out to myself for saying the word porous without laughing, because I don't know why. Okay, number 3. Here's some more portals in a home, toilets and plumbing. I said it. I mean it. I stand by it. Yeah. I know it's weird, Nan, but stay with
No, but it's not, because water is a conduit.
Natural conductor and portal anchor.
Yeah.
Flowing water moves energy, baby, and spirits are attracted to it. Bathrooms often feel heavy or uncomfortable because they combine water, mirrors, and solitude.
Good Lord. And electrical sockets.
Right? Yeah. Water, mirrors, and solitude, a trifecta for spiritual movement. And so,
like looking in the mirror in the bathroom. I get it now.
Right? You're like, there's this little thing over here going, hey. Cultural reference in Japanese folklore, ghosts like Hanaku-san, I'm positive I said that wrong, baby, so don't come at me, are said to dwell in school toilets.
Good Lord. The terrified children.
Yep. Okay. Seriously? Ghost girl in the 3rd stall. You're welcome. Okay.
That's tarotometer all over.
Oh my God. I totally went there when I was putting this together, my portion of it. I was like, oh, okay. Fun fact, Feng Shui teaches never to put an altar across from a bathroom. Where's your altar, Anne? Anne? Anne. Hey, Anne. That's the spirit behind you. Where's your altar? Nan, where's your altar? I have 3, so.
I have a few as well. There's one here in my office, and there's one in our dining room. And then, did I say 3?
Yeah, no, a few as well.
Yeah, I said I have a few. And then I kind of have one sort of outside where all my plants are planted.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this altar across from the bathroom spiritually is disruptive and energetically draining.
That makes sense.
Because you've got solitude and a mirror and a socket and freaking water in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What more do you need to screw up your altar? Okay. Number 4, vents, closets, and cold spots. Okay. Some closets act as holding zones. This is true for spirit energy, especially when people fear them. Fear amplifies the vibrational opening. Now think about that. Where do kids always say the monsters are? In the closet, under the bed, right? Air vents, crawl spaces, oh my goodness, may be experienced as portals when there's movement without physical cause or persistent cold flow. So again, these are places where they can hold the energy. You shut a door, right? Now, before people go and be like, well, they can move their spirit energy under the thing. It's a holding space, okay? It's a holding space. We don't have all the answers, baby. Nan and I are just here to give you the what's what. I don't know everything about spirit. So listen. I'm going to do it. I can't help it, Nan. Listen, Linda.
You know, my whole family has said listen from like when I was a toddler up. And so my husband just like does this, like kind of goes, oh, he winces a bit because like you get my sisters in the room and my mom and you got 4 women going, listen.
I swear to God, that is the goddesses are listening. That is my favorite meme I've ever seen. Is that little boy going, listen, Linda. Oh my God. So, but listen, my boos. Spirit doesn't need a grand marble arch to walk into your space, okay? All it needs is an opening. And
an input.
Emotional, energetic, or literal. It just needs that. If your vibe is off and your house is a weird hum, you come in the door and you're like, I'm sorry, guys. Stay with me. It's like, I know why I put that. The hum is like an energetic feel. If you can feel the energy in like one corner near the mirror, you know you've invited someone in because you're feeling awful. That's not what I meant to say. What I'm trying to say to you is your energy affects the stuff in the space too. So residual energy that is stuck in a house can pick up and give that hum, that feeling that something's on. It's not your imagination. You've got a leaky veil, okay? You've got to come in and clear that space. So that brings us to residual versus actual entity, okay? So residual energy, yucky energy that you've carried from work that day and you've come and dropped off in your location. Your kids have had a bad day at school, so they came home and they energetically dumped in the house, right? Residual, old fights, grief, trauma, illness, all that heavy stuff leaves a stain, okay? Leaves a stain. These are not spirits, just leftover energy loops, baby. Just like we talk about residual spirits, right? Ghosts.
Yeah.
An entity spirit can move through the portals. So if you're feeling like you're hearing the whispers or getting visited in dreams, you're dealing with a conscious energy. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
We good with that? Okay. So when you suspect a portal, what can you do? Well, you can smudge. I am like highly allergic. I tell you guys this all the time because it bugs the poop out of me that I'm highly allergic to sage. But you can smudge. You can use smoke, cleansing the mirrors, salt at the mirrors, outlets, the doors. You can open all the windows and do a full thing. It'll smell like you've been, smoking weed for hours. But anyway, It works. Salt, I'm not a big fan of salt. I've never felt anything with salt, but a lot of different communities and cultures like the idea of salt, and they'll put it all around. Remember, you're not trying to trap it with you. You're trying to get rid of it, baby. So you want it to go. And again, I want to stress this. I am not the person that you want to come to and say there's evil entities and demons trying to get in your house and all that jazz, because I ain't going to fly over here. That's not how spirit works with me. And I will leave that. I said what I said. Cover the mirrors at night, especially if they face your bed. You're welcome. Close emotional loops. Portals feed off suppressed emotion. Say what needs to be said. Release what you're holding in. If you're going to sit there and be like a sourpuss all night. So when your husband says to you, baby, what's wrong? Tell him all of it in whatever capacity you want to do it. But anyway, okay, just give it to him. Set wards. I do have a little bit of an affinity for being like love and light, protection and whatnot. Crystals like black tourmaline, selenite. I don't know why that word doesn't flow for me. At corners near suspected portals, right? Don't get water on it. And talk to your house. It sounds weird, baby, but I have conversations in my home all the time. I name my space because it sets kind of ownership, right? Like, hey, I'm with you. We're together. This is ours. This is my home. I only allow light. I close all uninvited doors. Period.
Nice.
I'm going to bring this to a close, boo-boo. Sure. Portals respond to presence. Okay? When you claim your space, they align to you. Oh, I have that's a whole topic for another day. When you fear, they amplify. Makes sense, right, Nan?
Yep.
But when you speak with sovereignty, they seal.
Nice.
Someone just yelled outside. So, if someone is actually outside calling my husband, you guys, I'm not kidding you. He's afraid to come into the yard because of the dogs. My husband's got his noise-canceling headset on. Okay, so let's wrap this up. When something goes bump in the night, or if you keep seeing something move in the reflection, that ain't you, babies. Don't panic. Just check your portals. You check the mirrors, and remember, 90% of this energy is residue. Is residue. Are your children opening themselves up to, all the things. Okay, clean it, clear it, claim it. Period. Done. The rest, Nancy and I are just a message away if you need us.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's it, babies. That's what I got for you. Nan, close us out, baby.
Well, I just think portals are great, and they remind us that reality is more fluid than it seems.
I love that. I just think portals are great.
I feel like if you're with the right ones, you can have some fun. So it's like...
That was awesome, Nan. I'm not going to lie. The best closing ever. Great.
And on that note, please go check us out on all our social media handles. I am found at Nancy Christine Brady on all the platforms. Tara is found on Spirit Essence by Tara Diana on all the platforms. We have a Patreon. Check it out. Please go engage with our Instagram and throw your name in there. So when we do our Spirit Scopes every month, if you put your name in there in the month that you were born, we may just do a personalized reading for you at the end of our Spirit Scopes.
And that brings us to our personalized reading for this month. This is probably the longest episodes we've ever done.
That's good. It's great. Now, I do not have the name of who the person was reading for. Personalized reading is for.
We're going to do Tatiana Swanson.
Fantastic. Okay. You take it. Take it. It's glorious.
Fantastic. It is just a whole lot of. Okay, baby. Let's do this. Tatiana, the card I'm pulling for you today comes from my deck that I don't know what it's called, but it's a beautiful deck. And it is Pegasus Transcending. I know Tatiana, she's from our Patreon. I've known her for a long time. She sits in development circle with me. And here's what I'm going to say. This is your time, baby. Spirit is saying to you that the leveling up is happening. It's your choice, my sweet little love muffin, if you wish to accept that and move into that space. So with this card, they're saying to you, you can soar. You can fly as high as you want. Now, here's something interesting. I always feel personally that when I see a horse represented in anything, whether it's a Pegasus, a unicorn, or whatever, a donkey, whatever the horse is, it represents freedom to me. And in this message, it's saying to you, it is your choice, beautiful lady, what you choose to do with this transcension. If you want to step into it, lean into it, go into it and do what you got to do. If it's not the right time for you in your humanness, that's okay too. Spirit doesn't judge. Okay? Spirit doesn't judge, baby. So I'm going to leave that with you.
That.
I
Tatiana, you are going to be the first person to experience my new deck, Earth Alchemy Oracle. And I love this one for you because it has crystals and plants. And you have a lot of earth energy to me. The card that I pulled is Candle, Quartz, and Bleeding Hearts. The art isn't really pretty in that. And it's all about showing up and showing yourself. It's all about the vulnerability, the self-worth, and the feminine healing. So stepping into that power that's you, sitting within you being perfectly you, and owning it. Absolutely own that energy. And it's going to multiply tenfold from that. Because when you sit within that, it's just like Tara was talking about the portals. You feed it negative, you get negative. You feed it positive, you're going to get positive. So this really is about bring through that beautiful energy. And by all means, get some quartz and work with it, because you can amplify it. You can set that intention, which will also help empower you. So I'm going to leave that with her.
I love that. Nan, honestly, I can't stop laughing that there was literally someone standing outside the window going, Mike.
Well, you know, it's funny because we couldn't hear it on the recording.
I know. That, oh my God. Okay. We want you to come back. We follow us. We love you. We hope you still love us after this. And we'll see you next time. Nan?
Thanks, everyone. And just keep on shining those beautiful lights.
Keep on keeping on, friends.
Keep it on.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on this journey into the wonderfully weird and metaphysical.
If you loved what you heard, don't forget to follow us for more insights and behind the scenes fun.